Hi everyone, my name is Liza Spirit. I'm a futures day trader and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video I want to talk about what helped me to develop my own strategy, my own playbook. I'm a huge believer that you do need to come up and backtest your own strategy. Yes, you can get inspired by other people. You can watch other traders on YouTube, read them online, see what's working best for them. You can get inspired by their strategy, but you should try it, backtest it, and see what is actually working for you. So today in this video, I want to break it down step by step, what can help you to come up with your strategy and different things you gotta do and how long it's gonna take. We'll dive deeper into that. And just a kind of a disclaimer that personally for me, it took almost a year, like I would say 11 months, yes, almost a year to come up with my strategy. Yes, it may take some time and it's totally normal. That's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry if you've been trading one strategy and it hasn't been working well for you, and maybe it's time to test something else. Maybe it's time to master and change the strategy, because I came up with understanding that based on a different instrument, I have a different strategy. I primary trade, yes, and what I'm going to talk about today is going to be based on me trading trading because I trade futures, right? I did trade NQ as well, and I did backtest my strategy of NQ as well over the summer, and I also trade oil. Oil CL is completely different strategy, and I'm going to share with you today in this video what helped me to identify what strategy is working for oil, what strategy is working for ES, and why it could not be the same strategy at all. That's why you have to pivot, and that's why you have to change certain things. So the first idea that I want to emphasize, the first point, is that at the beginning, when you just start trading, I highly encourage you to trade on a simulator or paper trading account, just for the sake of also understanding how things are working. When I started, I didn't even know, like, in terms of the size of my position, how things are working, like calculating all of these points, the profits, how the market works, how day trading futures work. So do not start trading your capital right away, especially if you are just a brand new beginner. Go and try paper trading, go and try simulator. I spent almost a year, and I would say exactly actually a year, of day trading using the prop firm account. So for the first 2 months, I was trading on the simulator, and then I switched trading my prop firm account. I failed so many prop firm accounts. That's probably a topic and conversation for another video, because I failed over 20 prop firm accounts before I actually started being profitable and before I started trading my own capital. And I think that's an amazing tool, an amazing opportunity that you have right now, we all have right now, is to trade with a prop firm. So I saved tens of thousands of dollars trading with a prop firm. Like, let's say it's only $50 a month for a subscription trading with a prop firm, and with profit loss, with a drawdown of 2,500. So if you multiply that by 20, so technically I saved almost $50,000 instead of my own capital, just testing it out and seeing what's working best for me. So I highly encourage you to trade first on a simulator, do the paper trading, and do the trading with a prop firm account as well. Try to find what's working for you, and just give it a try. So that's why trading on a prop firm account helped me a lot to see what instrument works for me. I started with trading ES, and then I started trading oil several months later. And for oil, I came up with the idea that trading oil, trading gold, trading platinum, silver, using the trend lines, it actually works the best. But how do you find it out? You gotta test it out. I highly encourage you to do, first of all, is backtesting. Go and backtest your strategy. So I would build my charts, I would look at the screen, I will use the screening time and build all the charts, build all of the lines. And then I took that strategy of trading using the trend lines to me trading with ES. And it didn't work out. Trading with the trend lines does not work for trading ES. Personally for me, I'm sharing my experience here. Maybe you have a different style, different trend lines, but it doesn't work for me. So that's why for oil, I have one strategy, and I set all my alerts using all of those trend lines just to see where market will move and where the price action will go. And then for ES and for NQ, I started testing out different things. But the first thing that you gotta come up with is your set of rules and your set of criteria. So even before you start developing your strategy, everything starts with fundamentals. And fundamentals, we are talking about your entry criteria, your exit criteria. What about your stop losses? So you gotta figure this out first. What is your risk management? What is your set of rules? What are your rules for entering the trade? What are your rules for exiting the trade? Maybe your rule, for example, for me, my rule back almost a year ago was I need to wait for a confirmation before I close my position, because I would instantly sell because I had a fear of losing the money. I would sell without having a clear confirmation, and that was one of my rules. Another rule was about the candle patterns as well. So come up with your rules and your criteria. For example, one of my rules that I have right now, and it's part of my strategy, I do not enter any positions on ES until 7 a.m. That's my rule. And for several months after I came up with this rule, after I tested my strategy, I did the back testing, and I'm gonna dive deeper into back testing in a moment. After 2 months, probably 2 months, I would break that rule a couple of times, and I would see the result of breaking that rule. I would lose. So that would be a losing position. I rushed my trade. I didn't wait for confirmation. So for the past few months, I've been sticking to my rule of not entering before 7 a.m. and it's been working amazingly. And you just gotta stick to it. If that's your rule, do not break that rule. So you gotta follow it. So come up with your rules that it's working for you and write them down. I think I even had my board in the office and I wrote it down, like all of my rules, all of my criteria that I need to wait for confirmation about selling, about exiting the position. And so every single morning I would look at that board and remind myself of my set of rules. So I've been using TradeZella, and again, this video is not sponsored by TradeZella. I've been just genuinely loving using the TradeZella for creating your own playbook. And I know for back testing right now, you can also use TradeZella to backtest futures, and you can actually do backtesting on TradingView as well. And again, as I said before, we'll come back to this. And the whole point of TradeZella is, what I loved is to write down my set of rules, write and create my own playbook. So this is my playbook and strategy for oil. This is my playbook and strategy for trading ES. And what are the criteria? Like, what is a part of this playbook? So playbook is like, think of it as like one whole thing. And then you have to break it down into like every single step, every single criteria. Like for me, like no trades before 7 a.m. Is it 7 a.m.? Is it not 7 a.m.? Do not enter if it's not 7 a.m. Pacific time yet. Do not enter if this is this. Do not exit if this is this. So what is the exit criteria? And you have all of those criteria for exit. Do I need all of those criteria or not? So it's just easy to visually come up with it, but you can also, as I said before, write it physically on the board. That's going to help you to see it every single day, or put a sticky note on your computer screen or like laptop screen in front of you somewhere, so you see those rules and you remind constantly of yourself that you gotta follow these rules. Those rules are important. So that's another point. Come up with this clear set of rules and criteria for exiting and for entering, and also related to your stop losses. Risk management is a huge part. So even if you have, like, before you come up with your strategy, you gotta understand your stop loss. What if your strategy you're planning to come up with, like, you are risking $500 to make $100? That doesn't seem and sound right. So that's why you gotta understand your risk management. Is this strategy, like, how does it look? What is your profit? What is your profit loss margin, right? What is that ratio? So you gotta understand that beforehand and before you start testing things out. So write it clearly, have a clear vision in front of you, everything written down before you even start testing, like, the strategy, because the strategy should be complete, right? It's like a business idea. You cannot go and test the product until you have everything written down. So the same idea here. The strategy has inside of the strategy, we have a playbook. Inside of the playbook, we have criteria for entries and for exits. We have the stop loss as well, like all of the rules there. And the rules for yourself, like if you see the position is reversing, sell this and this and this. So that's your set of rules that are part of your playbook, part of your strategy, and part of your edge. That's something else that you gotta work on as well. Backtesting. I said it before that before you actually trade with your real money, before you start trading your capital, go and backtest your strategy. Do not go and trade your capital just testing out the ideas, testing out your strategies, testing out what's working and what's not working. That's your capital. The main idea when we go trade is to preserve your capital. That's the major thing that you gotta focus on. Sometimes it's not even maximizing the profit. It's in majority of cases, it's preserving what you have. So it's kind of ridiculous of going and testing things out beforehand, before actually you have a clear plan and clear strategy. So you're risking your money a lot because you don't know if it's going to work out. It's like a gambling. You don't have a clear strategy yet and you just go and test it out. That's gambling. So we want to make sure that we test the strategy first before we start trading with our real capital. Backtesting, how you can backtest. As I said before, you can actually backtest on TradingView. Not many people know how to do that. I'll just gonna explain and show you briefly how to do that. So you open one of your charts. Let's say I have ES open in front of me, and like I trade on 15 minutes, so I have 15 minutes opened, like let's say 1 hour, just for the sake of this video on a backtesting. And I click replay right on top of my screen. And we can go back, just depending where you want to backtest. Let's say I want to start backtesting since my strategy is at 7 a.m., right? I'm going to start here. And maybe I will change it to 15 minutes. And at the bottom, you have the play button. And you can change the speed, right? And this is 4 a.m., the 15 minutes. So at the bottom, you also have buy and sell. You see how many contracts do you want to go with. So this is backtesting using the TradingView. I know it's not ideal. I wish it was a little bit of a better way of doing that, because you see the candle, the bar right away. It moves too fast. You can actually slow things down. You can select the speed that what you want, and you can select the bar. You can again go back, but that's also a great way to test out the strategy. Just wait until it's already moved. Yeah, things moving very fast here. So yeah, you can just slow it down. You can change it to 5 minutes, whatever you want. But that's also a great way to test out your strategy, to see what's happening, to play and replay the previous days. You can go as far as you want. That's an opportunity you can use using the TradingView. I know that you can also do the backtesting of futures using the TradeZilla. I personally have not tried that before. I know that's one of the new features, but what I've done in the past is using the TradingView and using the old school method of printing everything out. So I did a bunch of the screenshots of the market at 7 a.m. just based on my strategy. I wanted to print it black and white, but I think like I just sent it to the print shop. So I got it in color, printed in black and white. Do not use so much ink, and you can actually change the settings in your trading view for colors and backgrounds as well. So this whole stack I printed to test out my ES and NQ strategy. So what I did, literally, I took a pen and a pencil and I took my ruler. I was building things, I was testing them out, I marked them, and I spent quite some time, like several hours, of actually seeing if my strategy is working or not. And then I would put my notes in here as well. I have a bunch of notes written down here. And then, as you know before from my previous video, I like data, I like analyzing things. So I would summarize that data. So out of, I don't know how many days and how many charts I have here. So out of like, what is the probability of that strategy? What is the win rate of that strategy? Is it working, or if it's not working? In what cases it's not working? And that's how I tested out my ES and NQ strategy. In what cases, maybe it was a news day, maybe it was something else, like what day of the week. And yeah, like after I did that heavy deep work of sitting down and looking at the charts, that's when I came up with, yes, this strategy for my conclusions were my strategy didn't work out for NQ. That's what I originally have. But that strategy amazingly works for ES, and I'm gonna stick to ES. That's when I stopped trading since July. July was the last month when I traded NQ. So I did this whole part of work in July as well. So I traded NQ, strategy wasn't working out. I didn't like the probability and the win rate for that strategy. Sometimes it was working, sometimes not. So that strategy for trading NQ still requires some work and backtesting. But for ES, loved it. Like, let's say 4 out of 5 times or 8 out of 10 times, that strategy was working amazingly, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna stick to it and I'm gonna continue trying it out and see if it's gonna work for me. So you can use the old school method. I love it. I just love physically sitting and looking, and I can compare like charts. I can look on Monday, this is Tuesday. It's just amazing personally for me. I'm a visual person, so I love looking at these things and seeing how does they look here physically on paper. So that's another way to test out things and see what's working, what's not working, what strategy works, what strategy does not work. So try it out, try it backtest using the TradingView account, TradeZell account. Try to do it using physically doing the screenshots of the charts. That's what I did. I just did the screenshots of the charts, and I just went and printed it out and I tested it out, and yeah, seeing what's working, what's not working for me, and analyzing the data. Another point is that one of the previous videos, I talked about what helped me to improve my trading and start being profitable, and I talked about journaling. So for example, it also comes back to all of the criteria and all of the rules. I avoid trading on some news days because I know that the strategy is not working out on those news days. I avoid trading on the specific, I don't know, setups as well. When there is no trade, I just don't enter or just skip that day. That's another thing that you're gonna focus on and analyze. That comes to journaling, right? So the more you journal, you see what instrument is working out for you. For beginners, for everyone, I highly recommend just pick 2 tickers, 1 to 2, and focus on them. Like for me, it's ES and oil. I don't trade oil often, only if I see that based on my strategy again, if the things are moving, I will enter. If not, I don't actively trade it daily because, as I said before, for oil, it's my trend line strategy. But for ES, I trade it daily because my strategy is daily, right? And again, if there's no trade, there's no trade. I'm not gonna enter. So that's why come up with what's working for you, time-wise, what is working for you, what is the best time of the day, what the time frame works best for you. Like I know that my strategy, like actually I I did the printouts of the different time frames. I have 5 minutes and I have 15 minutes time frame. And I was choosing and I was picking, maybe like NQ will work better on 5 minutes, but nope. For me, I tested out and I know that trading on 15 minutes works best for me and works best for my strategy. So do not be scared to try it out. You don't have to stick to something with what you are doing right now, especially if it's not working out for you. Find what works best for you, what instrument, what ticker works for you, what time frame works for you, what are your set of rules, what are your set of criteria like for entering and exiting, as I said so many times, and back test. And do not test your strategy, I'm gonna repeat myself, using your own capital, using your real account. Please don't do that. We have so many opportunities right now presented to us to avoid those losses, to avoid those even stupid losses, because it's not worth it. You're testing something out, and as I said before, it's just a gambling, like, oh, if it's gonna work, it's gonna work. If it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. You're gonna lose your money. You're gonna lose your capital. Test out your strategy, your playbook, your ideas offline, offline here, or using the paper trading simulator or prop firm account. I'm so glad that I'm so grateful that I traded and I actually failed trading 50 prop firm accounts, because it helped me to test out what's working for me, what's not working for me, what is my best strategy, what is my best way of doing things and trading things. Do not copy other people. If that strategy works for that person, it doesn't mean that it's gonna work for you. Come up with what's working for you specifically. And yeah, and if that strategy is not working for you, maybe you found it somewhere online. One of the like YouTubers and YouTube traders said, like, you gotta use this strategy. This strategy is 100% win rate. Yeah, maybe it's for them, but maybe not for you. And if it's not working out for you, it doesn't mean that you should quit trading, that you should stop trading in general, and I don't know, just forget about it. Go and find out what's working for you. Okay, like whatever makes you feel comfortable, and the time frames and everything. I know people trade like on 15 seconds or like 1 minute time frames. Maybe that's your way of trading as well. For me, oil is like usually 30 minutes time frame, and for ES is 15 minutes. Of course, when I place my trades, I look at 5 minutes, I look at 1 minute. When I exit as well, I look at those time frames. But everything is still based on the 15 minutes time frame. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, is how to develop your strategy and what helped me to develop my strategy. I hope you will find those tips pretty useful for you. And let me know in the comments below, what instruments do you trade? What strategy works best for you? How long did it take you to build your strategy? Or maybe you're still trying to find out what is your strategy, and I will be happy to know more about you. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in my next videos.